My story begins when my eldest son was 8 years old. We had not gone on very many vacations. And in fact, when I was younger, when I was a kid, I didn't go on very many vacations. My son's 8 years old, and my girlfriend at the time says, hey, we should go to Ocean City. And I said, I can't afford it. And she's like, we still have to go. It doesn't matter. And we figured it out. And my son was really nervous about going, wasn't sure he wanted to go, but I convinced him he needed to go. And it made my heart swell because we got there to the beach, we got the car locked, and we had our boogie boards and everything. And we're walking down to the beach, and my son had never seen a body of water larger than Lake Redmond or Lake Pinchot. And he sees the ocean, and he runs towards it, and then he just stops with his hands out staring. And then he turns around, and he looks at me and says, this is the best day of my life. And I thought there's no amount of money that could have bought that moment. It was so powerful to know that at 8 years old, I'd given him the best day of his life. And it cost us a condo and, a couple of hot dogs and a little bit of food along the way. But it just made my heart absolutely swell. And it was just like a year or two later, it's Christmas time, and I'm struggling financially. And what my children wanted more than anything else in the world was a Wii. They weren't cheap. I was in a new job. I'm struggling to make it work, and I just don't see any way to fit it in the budget. And then my boss announces this incentive contest, and one of the prizes is a Wii. So I worked my tail off. And ultimately what we were doing, we were earning points towards this auction where all of the employees would earn dollars, and then they got to bid on what they most wanted. And another person got the Wii. And the next best thing that I could get with my money, I had the second most cash of anybody in the group, was a business card scanner that could scan business cards into your computer. It's not a very good Christmas present for a 10-year-old, let me tell you. But I asked my manager, I got to think about it, I asked my manager, I said, do you have the receipt for that? She said, yeah. And I look at the receipt from Staples, and it was almost exactly the same cost as a Wii. So I took this, and I warned my children ahead of time that it was going to be a rough Christmas, that we weren't going to have much money. And comes Christmas Day, they've opened a handful of presents. They got a sweater, they got some socks, they got a couple of cheap toys from Gabriel Brothers or the Salvation Army or whatever. And then they unwrapped a couple of video games that were for the Wii. And they're looking at them, and they look at me and say, we don't have a Wii. I said, oh, I thought you could play that on your GameCube. No, Dad, this is for the Wii. Oh, well, you should open this. And they tear off the wrapping, and my eldest son again looks at me and says, this is the best day of my life. And I was really excited, and I thought, it's better than the beach? Really? But again, I brought him that moment. Now, I know since then he's had best days of his life. I don't know when they were. Some of them I may have been there for. Some of them I'm pretty sure I wasn't. He's 18 now. But I'm pretty sure one of them came, he was in high school, and he was in the band was going on a trip to go to Orlando. They were going to go to Walt Disney World and Universal Studios. And he said, Dad, we can't afford this. And I'm not sure I want to go. I don't know anybody who's going that I want to hang out with. I don't have any friends going. I said, son, you have to go. It's $800 and you're in Orlando for 5 days. You're going to make friends. You're going to have fun. You're going to have a great time. I don't know. And I had to convince him to go, and I had to help him fundraise and worked really hard. And finally he went, and he came back with fabulous stories about Universal Studios and Harry Potter World, his first kiss, and his first girlfriend. So I'm pretty sure there was the best day of his life in there someplace, but he didn't exclaim it to me. But ultimately, looking back at all of these, I realized that when you don't have enough money and you don't think you can do it, and there are things that make you nervous and make your palms sweat, and you think, well, I'd love to do, but I just can't. You need to, because that's probably where your best day ever is.